What's up, y'all? This is how to do a checkout on Turo. So if you've never done a checkout or you want to learn how to do a checkout, I'll kind of walk you guys through this. This is our 2010 Lexus on our fleet, and this is how to do it. So you hit start checkout, and then from there it's going to ask you if there's any new damages. If there is, you'll file a claim. I'll probably make a separate video on claims. But if there's not, we already did an inspection. There's no damages around the vehicle. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit no. And then from there, they'll ask you to take photos. I always tell the guests to take photos when they drop it off, and we take photos as well to cover both parties. If there's no additional damages, there's no need for photos because we already have the pre-check-in photos, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And then from there, if you don't have photos, you skip. Then we go to the odometer and we look at how many miles, because we want to know how much miles they put in. And if they went over a certain amount of miles, it's like 200 miles a day minimum is what we give the guests and what is Turo standard. If they went over, then you're gonna have to charge them. So you gotta mark the miles at the end towards the checkout. Once you enter that, you just hit next, and then from there, it'll tell you to submit, finish checkout, and if everything's good, no damages, miles good, we also check the gas. So you wanna make sure that they filled it up with gas. If they didn't, you're gonna have to charge an incidental for that as well. It's all on the app, you'll see it, and then again, if there's no damages, you've seen it all, everything's good to go, then it's clean, you get your money, cha-ching, and everything's good to go. I'm going to show you guys with Eric how we go about checking in every vehicle. So at the end of every checkout, we check out the vehicles to make sure everything's good from fluids, tires, so tap into that.
Alrighty guys, we got our Lexus back, and so we really want to inspect the vehicle when the Lexus comes back from the guest, make sure there's no damages. So first thing you want to check is go walk around on the vehicle, check the body, make sure there's no dents, scratches, dings, anything like that. You want to charge the guest for that if it's happened in their possession. So this is really where you need to know your vehicles. Look at the pre-trip photos, look at if the damages was already there. You don't want to charge the guest if they didn't do those damages. You want to check the interior, make sure there's no rips in the seats, make sure there's no stains on the carpets. Take a photo of the odometer and the gas, make sure the gas is full. You know, make sure there's no check engine lights, anything like that. And then you want to do your inspection, so make sure the tires are good, the brakes, the fluids, top those off, and that's kind of the general overview, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So as you can see guys, we got some damage right here. This didn't happen with this last guest, but this is an example. You don't want to charge guests for what they didn't do. Make sure you are familiar with your damage on your vehicle. And hey, if you get it repaired, you get it repaired, but if you don't charge the guest what they didn't do. Alrighty, so we got the car started here. We want to make sure that we take a picture of the odometer and the gas. If the gas isn't full, you need to get that refilled, get that incidental charge, and you need to see how many miles the guest drove on their trip. So in the checkout page, you'll put the miles, it'll tell you how much they drove, and then make sure there's no check engine light, make sure the tire light isn't on, anything like that, make sure that's all good. And here we are at the tire, so we want to make sure that there's still tread on the tire, make sure they're not in danger or anything, make sure the guests are safe. We want to check the brake pads, make sure it's still got pad lift. These are about 50%, so we're good. And you also want to check while you're down here the curb rash, make sure there's no new curb rash. If you need to charge the claim, charge the guest for that if it's new. And also check the air pressure, make sure those tires are nice and inflated for the guests. We want to have these vehicles being safe. Alright, here we are at our fluids. We want to make sure all our fluids are topped off. Got our coolant right here, make sure that coolant's filled, power steering. You got to make sure your brake fluid and even your washer, make sure that the guests have the washer fluid. Anything that they might need, make sure they have, just so you can get that good review. Make sure your vehicles are safe, reliable, and they won't break down on the guests.
Hopefully you guys learned about a checkout process on Turo. Everything that we just shared right now, it'll kind of give you guys an overlay on what to look for and how to make sure that the customer experience is top-notch. You want to make sure you get good reviews, everything's good, communication all around. So hopefully you guys learned something. This is what we do. I'll drop all the information down below in the description, and then I'll give you guys our actual template on what we do every checkout that Eric does when he inspects every vehicle. If you guys enjoyed, tap in. I just did a video on how to be a Turo power host and a day in the life. So how to do that, a day in the life, check out our day in the life and just what it is on a day-to-day basis. Y'all be blessed, have a great week, take care.